The next part we're going to take a look at is under Account and then Settings. Settings allows you to look at specific settings that you've got set up for you in Canvas. So here on the right there are Edit Settings. For the most part, there's nothing you can do. You can't really add an email address. You have an option for downloading submissions. The change password doesn't work. A lot of this stuff doesn't work. There is the ability to change the language. That's one of the main things that you can do here. And you can change your time zone. So understand that if you do this or a student does this, anything like that happens, the problem is that, for instance, a student, if you set something due at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, they may see that it's at 1 a.m. Central time. They might not understand that that's the case, and so when they're looking at it, the date itself, you may say on everything it's due Sunday the 1st, and they may look at it and say, oh, it actually says the due date is Monday the 2nd, and you say midnight, well, you're meaning Pacific time, they're thinking whatever time zone they're in. So just be aware that every once in a while that will come up if students do make this change. This is the most common way for the date to be wrong that they're looking at. Going down further on this page, you've got a couple of different things that come up. For the most part, there's not a lot you can change until you get to the bottom and there's features. So under these features, you have different options that you can turn on. One of the options is high contrast UI. If you turn that on, enable it, when you refresh your screen, notice the bar on the left turned colors. In fact, it gets rid of a lot of colors. Be very careful in the high contrast UI. Sometimes that works, sometimes it makes it more difficult to read. So personally, I don't like the high contrast UI. I like it disabled, but that's something that you can turn on if you want. A number of students do have that on. Other things that you can change are things like the Microsoft Immersive Reader. If you click on that, it talks about how you can enable Microsoft Immersive Reader button throughout the supported areas in Canvas. Mostly pages, any place where the rich content editor is used. Again, this is for your account. This has nothing to do with your students, has nothing to do with your course, anything else. This is about you, all right? So do you want links, underlines, semicolon, separating fields, etc.? So a lot of these are typically turned off. The open to-do items in a new tab, I really like that, but that's something that you can not have if you want. If you just want, when you click on to-do on the dashboard, to have it just open there in the dashboard instead of opening in a new tab. So this is where you would make those changes. And now if I, for instance, refresh my screen, you'll see that blue bar on the left come back because I have turned off the high contrast UI.